We're good. We're good. I didn't unmute. Hello and welcome. This is gonna be a shit show the whole time. I was gonna warn everybody. Hello, welcome to GoldBoys Primetime. I'm Eli here with Prospector Sam, which we're super excited about, making his first minion appearance, and then of course, unfortunately, we have Brian versus the Books. I'm an idiot and just completely lost track of time, so we are 15 minutes late. Tim29 in chat already pissing me off. How we doing, guys?
Doing good. Yeah, you asked right as Brian took a sip of his drink. That was you nailing it today.
I love messing with him.
Yeah, no, it's good. Glad to be here. You know, I'm always glad to have Brian around. He loves me. So
yeah,
kind of
this is. I was gonna say was I'm just coming in here. I'm wearing the exact same thing I was wearing for the other show. So that's how you know I have been really active today and actually doing real life things. It's been an interesting day.
Jerry's in the chat.
Yeah, Jerry's probably on the train, just hating his life right now.
No, he's in bed because I think he's got the Rona, but he's in chat. He said I get replaced by this idiot with goggles.
He's just Jim.
Hey, listen, we're gonna have a good time. That's all I know. I am pretty underprepared. I do have some home run plays. I think I gotta even see. Oh yeah, I got some home run plays I like tonight. I got some total base plays I like tonight. I think there's basketball games tonight we should talk a little bit about. I haven't even looked. I don't even know who's playing yet, but we're going to figure that out here in just a second. Prospector Sam is the Potato Man, because we have another Sam in GoldBoys FIFA Brit. So I've been referring to you in the last couple hours as the Potato Guy because you're the name of your podcast. Who's the dude with goggles? That's Prospector Sam. He's the Potato Man, as I've been referring to him as. He's like the soccer guy, the podcast. What other kind of guy are you? Take a little time to introduce yourself, Sam. Let me figure out my brain.
Yeah, he's an asshole is what we call him.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't talking to you, Brian.
General pain in the ass on Twitter, I think, is generally where a lot of my content goes, but mostly soccer. Your Sam really fucked with me by coming in and being the second soccer Sam.
He's the other Sam.
Yeah, he is the other Sam. I've been around for a long time. Let's make it straight. So yeah, soccer and then college sports primarily. So college basketball, college football, which makes me completely useless for a MLB and NBA slate of games.
But what about college basketball?
Well, this is why I feel like this is gonna be more of a discussion about just random ass shit rather than actual bets. I only have one bet today because I knew Sam was coming on and I knew we wouldn't get anywhere. So I came prepared as I should.
I have lots to talk about with Turkish soccer tomorrow, so if you want to just fill the entire show with that, I've got you covered.
Let's end the show now.
It was kind of
a waste of time.
Yesterday,
why are you even here?
Yesterday, kind of last minute, I filled in on the. Well, I tried to fill in on the lunch break show. The one.
Terrible.
I even moved it. Had everybody move it to 2:00 so I could get around to work meeting and fill in. And my mic ended up not working apparently, so we figured that out like 10 minutes in. I had to go to Walmart and buy a new one before the 5:00 show started. But anyway. Brad Thomas is on there. He's obviously a soccer guy, and he's also somebody that you can just kind of listen to talk about anything because he's just like incredible and it's great. But he was like saying all these soccer words and shit, and me and Brian were just kind of like, yeah, cool, soccer. Yeah, let's start with soccer. Bet on Anthony Rizzo to hit a home run.
You talk about that like as if like I'm not the soccer expert. I played soccer for a year. I was 5 years old. I was on the red team. And dude, I was not great, but I played.
I'm in the same boat. I don't know what color my jersey was. My mom signed me up too late, like last minute. So we had to go to like Goodwill and find like just the same color T-shirt because I was literally it was 5-year-old soccer.
That sounds like you in the GoldBoys Discord. You just seem like the guy that's like they just put on
here. Yeah. I don't know why. I talked to you a little bit on Sam's podcast. I don't know how I got here. I don't know where we're going, but somehow I am where I am. But anyway, the only time I touched the ball, I scored scored a goal on our own on our goal. It was an own goal.
Sounds like
I think is what that
shooting
called
yourself in the
soccer.
foot.
Yeah.
Classic Eli. Yeah.
What is Sam doing here, right?
Scored a goal.
Listen, why are all these people who couldn't come on the show tonight in here bitching about Sam being here? This man showed up. Ryan said no. Jerry backed out. Listen, shut the hell up.
I will say this is getting way too off topic, so maybe we should hone it back in because I got lots. I mean, this is a good time. I mean, I can attest to this. I know Sam hates the MLB baseball slate, like the whole kind of game. But the sport, I don't know if you saw this sport, I guess, but I don't know if you saw. But I want everyone to resonate in this. There's the one thing we can all agree about baseball and betting on baseball is I don't think anything hurts more than losing in certain baseball props because it's like like in football or like in basketball or even in soccer, like one change of the ball and like everything can like happen in an instant. It's so quick and whatever. But baseball, like the way it's so slow, sometimes you have these bets where like, all right, this is gonna cash, and then it's like, all right, this should cash, and then the longer it doesn't happen, you're like, all right, like eventually he's gonna get there, and
I
then it never
joined you.
happens, and it
I
just
joined you
feels
in the
like it's
missing
chopped
on
ahead.
I joined you in missing Jesus Lazardo strikeout line. Was that Monday? He had
Oh yeah.
4 and 2 innings and ends with like 5 or 6. But real quick, we started this yesterday's show talking to Nick and Jerry about it. Sam, I know you have some thoughts because I tagged you something on Twitter. The big, I don't think we talked about this yet, Brian. So let's spend a couple minutes. The big void situation for Ohtani Monday. If you don't know, there was the rain out. In my opinion, the numbers on Shohei were better than they should have been because of the weather. And then FanDuel comes out and voids, which, all the power to them, I guess, whatever. You have any just quick reaction, like 30, 60 seconds apiece?
I'm gonna come in before Sam because I know Sam's about to get really vulgar and really upset.
Mm-hmm.
I am on Sam's side here. I'm not a fan of the void and this and that, but I will say this: I was on Ohtani because the weather was supposed to subside, and I'm still mad they played it early because in my thinking, I thought delayed game, they delay it until the rain stops. I don't know why they try to fit it in before it stopped and then stop. You know what I mean? Like if they just waited another like hour, the game
It
would be
was all
fine.
part of the Marathon Monday stuff.
Yeah, that's what it was. They were trying to fit the marathon, like the whole whatever in. And I was like, I get it's a tradition, but why wouldn't you wait for the rain? That's a whole other thing. My biggest thing is that was the first time I've ever been helped by a void. I've never gotten a refund until that. And I didn't even think to ask. So that's the other thing is I think if the books want to do it, that's one thing. But the idea of like saying you're entitled to one is a whole other thing. If I get a void or whatever, I'm not gonna email DraftKings and say, "Hey, take this $100
Take
back."
my money back.
But like I didn't even realize it until like the next day when I got it. Like I think the idea of the outrage for not getting a void is just like absurd. But if I think the books just like they set themselves into a weird place because gambling Twitter and gambling is so big now that you set the precedent where if they're like, oh, they voided it for this guy, the next rain delay, it's gonna be the same thing, and it probably won't happen because this was a standalone day game. If it's like a random one in a slate of 12 games, they won't even bat an eye, but you're still gonna see people getting really frustrated with it. So it gets really murky.
Sam, I know where you stand, but
Yeah, I mean,
I told Brian 30, 60 seconds. He went on for about like 3 minutes, but go ahead.
It was actually not 3 minutes. I have it timed, idiot.
I'll keep it sweet. Yeah, I think there's two sides of it. It's the people getting a break, which is I think great. Like I'm not going to complain if I ever get a voided bet, and I don't think anyone should apologize for getting a voided bet. It's good marketing for the books. So like all in all, I think there are a lot of people in the short term that benefit. We lose in the long term because they're not giving away this money for free. They're not giving it back to you for free. It's going to come around in other ways like long-term, pricing and standard odds and all that are much worse for all of us on the long scale. So like, I get it. I'm fine with people getting voided vets. I don't like it when people are like complaining for it because I feel like they just don't recognize the long versus short-term effects. And what we really should care about is like the difference between -110 and -113, -114 as a standard bet is huge for gamblers. We should be worried about that way more than we should be worried about voiding one, $50 bet right now.
Yeah, and I gave my thoughts on it yesterday, but just real quick, I think both extremes of each side are wrong, right? Like the people crying every time somebody gets injured in the first quarter if there's a rain delay, whatever, saying this I deserve for this to be voided. You're wrong. No, you don't. And then the people like shitting on people asking for voids, I think are also wrong because these sports books are making $1 billion, every freaking minute, right? But that's the piece that I didn't think of, Sam, is when I saw you call that on Twitter that we're paying for this in the long run. We've seen the general value in lines across the board come down in the last year and a half. And I do. My point yesterday was for this case specifically, I am anti the void because I think, Brian, even in your write up for Ohtani props, you said, hey, like the weather's gonna be bad. This is a little risky. So like that should have just been part of your handicapping process across the board, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, sometimes you can control what you can control, but that's what with me is I was literally like the weather should hold out. I thought the game would start around 1:30. They just put it at 12. They were trying to do the whole Boston like all that stuff. So it didn't work out in my favor. But in rain delays, I just automatically assume I lose. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if it's like a 20-minute delay, I just like give up. So I was at the gym and everyone's texting me and they're like, "Does Otani come back?" And I was like, "Dude, I already moved on. Like, I don't even like it's whatever. Like, I'll just go mope over here in the corner." So yeah, I think it's very
He loses so much, it's probably normal. So
yeah, that's fair.
Chat's going crazy right now. This is the most I've ever seen in chat. So awesome, guys. Keep it up. Granted, some of it, half of it is.
Well, my guy Isaac is just happy to see me again. This is my second show today.
Isaac has a problem. He loves you that much, I think, but I don't know.
No, this is my second show here. I did a Picket Spaces. I've been talking all day for a guy that really is just not entertaining to listen to. So
that's a fair point. Toby saying I'm fired for some reason. NJC is also here, so I might be fired. I don't know. I told Sam last week I was probably gonna get fired after his show, and I'm still here, so I maybe I'm invincible at this point. If Ryan Props had to rank his favorites, Sam's Prospector is far ahead of FIFA Brit. Toby said something similar, pretty much. 2 Brian shows. That's that guy. Just trying to catch up, My back hurts from carrying. That was Brian. Didn't really need to read that one. Eli will never be fired. Let's go. I'm freaking safe. I'm turning the stream off. Maybe. Damn it. Okay.
So I will. Can I interject to give people the one bet I have, so people don't act like they're just
talking about baseball. We'll talk about some baseball. Then we'll let Sam talk about the football.
My bet was NBA
football.
actually.
Okay,
I've got baseball. I've got baseball covered. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think people want to see some NBA.
Let's do it.
I want to just give it out because like people do watch this for actual content, and for the most part, I just flounder in my room here. But I did take Drew Holiday over 30.5 points, rebounds, assists. I wanted to give that out only because I think Giannis Antetokounmpo plays today, but there's this like inherent thing where you get the discount because he is playing. And if you talk about taking unders and like rain delays or like if someone's injured, this is like a different way to look at that because if Giannis is unexpectedly out or he does get hurt in the game or he's not 100%. Then Drew Holiday inherently gets helped because if Giannis is hurting, Holiday gets helped a lot with his usage rate. But as Sam talks about lines and about how you pay different juice or different this and that, you get 30.5 here for points, rebounds, / assist. His individual categories are 18.5, 7.5, and 5.5. So that adds up to 31.5. So usually when you're playing the combo line, you have to pay the extra PRA if you do that. So getting at 30.5, which is one less than that, just feels really good. The Heat don't really have him in the matchup with them. Kyle Lowry is like 80 years old, and Tyler Hero is now hurt. So I think the Heat are in a weird position where they're going to have to experiment with their guard play. And I think that's going to benefit Drew Holiday a lot, who should play like 40 minutes. He's the one guy in the Bucks that can play those heavy minutes. So I do like this one a lot. It's on MGM or DraftKings is the over 30.5 PRA for Drew Holiday. That's the one bet I wanted to get out just in case if there is any weird news as we're on here that Giannis is out or this or that, which I think Giannis does play.
I think I was hearing on the radio or something today that it sounded like he was he's trending towards playing. At least. Sam, do you watch the basketball, the NBA?
I follow it. I don't bet NBA, but I'll follow the storylines, watch the games. I mean, it's objectively more fun now that the NBA playoffs come around. The product is just so bad during the regular season, but it's
100%.
But the playoffs are great, and some of these matchups now you get into the playoffs, they're fun to watch. These guys go back and forth at each other 7 games in a row or however many it is on the series because. The one good thing about the NBA is the player development and all the things they do in the media, and these guys and watching them play each other 6-7 times in a row. I mean, watching Kawhi and CP3 look like they fucking hated each other last night is fun to watch. So the product in the NBA, once you get to playoff time, is actually fantastic, and I do like watching it. Still not. I know I'm not informed enough as a bettor to make like good picks on it though, so I refrain from doing that.
Yeah, I'm actually with Sam. I hate this. Like the second or third time I've had to agree with him as he's drinking his Mike's Hard Lemonade, but but I do think it's kind of refreshing the playoffs. I'd much rather have to cap and bet on 3 meaningful games than sometimes trying to sift through the 12 random games where you have this guy that was created yesterday in NBA 2K playing at like the starting shooting guard for the Spurs and this and that. So it is nice and comforting to kind of lower your volume someone said in the chat as Isaac again, any chance or value on Giannis
I was
unders?
about to respond to that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is. I just think that it's so tough because with injuries, it's baked into the line. His point assist rebound line is 43.5 or 44.5, depending on the book. So if there was no injury concerns, you're likely getting that at like almost 50. So
Exactly.
I think that's the only thing is that you run the risk that A, you're kind of a dick for rooting for an injury, but and B, it's just a matter of why I do like the idea of it. I just think you have to understand you are paying for the fact that if Giannis was 100%, would his points be 27.5? There's just no chance.
That's
So
exactly what I was gonna say. And if you want to like try to shop around and find the best line, maybe you can find a 28.5 or something like that out there. Or maybe it's out there. I don't know. But you could download the Pickett Sports app. Use code Go. I always mess it up. I was feeling so good. Use code GoldBoys. Or if you want to help Brian, you can use code FaceOff40. I got that memorized. Sam, do you have a Pickett code or no? No, you work for Dimers. You don't have a
No,
Pickett code.
no, I
he's
don't.
a
They're
he's a
not. They're
he's a
letting you do that
Dimers
shit,
guy,
man.
yeah. But I will say that was a good plug
It
sponsor.
was
I will.
so close, and
Yeah.
use
Yeah, and
code
it was so
GoldBoys
smooth.
is so hard to say.
Yeah, I was going to say I was going to give you props for that, and then in my meeting tomorrow with some of the Pickett guys, I was going to give you props, but now I'm just going to trash you some more.
Yeah, it was really close to being good. You can
it
also
was
download
really
Boom
close to being
Fantasy
good.
if you're not an illegal a gambling state, especially. You could download a Boom Fantasy. Maybe if you like Giannis's overs, you could play that as a daily fantasy, but like in a prop format. If you want to do that,
Yeah.
use code GoldBoys or BrianVsTheBooks there too. And he just texted me, said, Brian, you sound weird today. I think so too. I don't think there's anything I can do about it at this point. So sorry, and JC, we're just here. That's exactly what I was gonna say, and I'm glad you picked up on Isaac's chat there, because if Giannis is 100%, that 27.5 line is what, 31, maybe 30 and a
Yeah.
half, 31 and a half. So
Probably,
you're already, if we were getting that line, and you could jump on the under early before the books can adjust to the news, I guess. Yeah, I'd be all over it. I don't think you can play it at 27.5.
yeah.
It's just you're already losing that. But
Me and
we have
Will.
seen Giannis when he's not healthy been terrible. So
Yeah, I will say, me and Will, our thing on the lunch break show, you would know if you could hear us. But
I could always
we we always say that. I think Sam would agree with this too. Is that we like to gamble, we like to bet, we don't like to guess, and that's kind of where it
Yeah.
comes into play. Where when you have a star on injury concerned, you're kind of guessing to see because you don't really. The only person that knows how they feel is the star himself. So you don't know if it's going to be Giannis coming out and playing like Giannis or playing like Eli out there. Like you don't know how he's going to look. So that's
Hey,
the only thing. I feel like you're kind of
I used
guessing
to
a
be
little
able to
bit.
dunk a tennis ball. Just saying. And I think
Really?
if you wanna try to find a way to fade Giannis, something I was going to talk about next. Not fade him, just like fading the injury, I guess. I think I would almost attack it more so playing the Heat at +8.5. I mean, I don't.
Or take Drew Holiday lines. That's what I
Or
did.
take Drew Holiday lines, like Brian told you to do. That's the best way to play
Yeah.
it. All right.
Last thing on this game, then we'll move on. Did you see Reggie Miller said that losing Tyler Hero for the Heat is worse than the Bucks losing Giannis Antetokounmpo? It's pretty funny. It was an interesting take.
Listen.
Oh, he's a big Pacers guy. I'm not. I love Reggie Miller. That's not what I said. He's gonna get his Reggie Miller jersey on.
There's one thing we will not be allowing on this show: Reggie Miller hate.
Did I hate him? I just said that was a
can't hear
funny
you.
comment.
The headphones aren't on.
Yeah, you're a piece
I
of shit,
mean-
and no one really loves you getting fired. Yeah, so what I was saying is I'm not hating on Reggie Miller. I'm
Okay.
just saying it was a very interesting comment to say that Tyler Hero
Yeah, that
loss
is crazy. That is
more
absolutely insane.
substantial.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
interesting is a nice euphemism. For
Yeah, I just think
God, idiotic.
I will say I feel like it's not as outlandish as it sounds when you first hear it. If you talk about how much the Heat might need the spacing,
Yeah.
but still, it's just a crazy comment to say that arguably the best player in the world missing is not as comparable to Tyler Hero, who has a song named after him, and after that, that's about it.
I think it was the noise suppression I had to turn on your microphone. I think that fixed it. You sound a little less weird now. Yeah, I don't have anything else on this game. The other two games, I guess, I just don't really care. I don't really care. Like the Lakers, I think should win by more than a point, and they're a 1-point dog. But I don't really think you can bet on them. And then the Timberwolves getting 8.5 away on the road in Denver. Like Jokic should get his triple double, but that's probably like minus 300 at this point. Like
It's plus 210 actually. It's crazy.
that's still terrible. So I don't
Yeah.
know. If you guys have any other questions on NBA, throw them out there. We'll try to address them. I can't bring myself to care enough about these games to want to kind of handicap them. Also, I completely forgot about this show until it was supposed to
we
be
realized
starting.
that
So.
when you showed up 15 minutes late. But
Yeah.
the only thing I could say on this slate is the only other play I was looking at was maybe a Nikola Jokic under in points, just because Nikola Jokic has this thing where he plays against teams like this, where even if they're up by a million, he might just take 3 shots and call it a night. Like if he's
That's
totally
true.
okay racking up those points in other ways in terms of rebounds and assists, where I think 23.5 might be a little high for him. I'm going to try to. I was kind of waiting on it, hoping it would get up a point, but I guess the public's not loving it as much as I was hoping, where I can get like, maybe some discount on a higher line, but I haven't really seen much movement that way.
Yeah, I think that's kind of all of our dedicated NBA content for tonight. But again, if you guys have questions or things you want us to talk about, just drop them in chat. Tim saying we apparently Brian, you took that Reggie comment out of context. He meant the Bucks have played more this season without Giannis than the Heat have without Hero. That kind of makes sense. Even still, it's kind of a lame take. You want to talk about soccer now? Damn, are you up?
I got baseball pick first.
Oh, okay. Let's go to baseball.
We have one more comment from a text from JD from the Discord. He says that for anyone's listening, if you want a free pick from JD himself, he is laddering Rudy Gobert's threes. I'm guessing the base is at 0.5 at plus 6,000, and he might just ladder that up. So
wait,
I guess
can you say is that serious?
JD just texted me saying he's laddering Gobert's threes.
Is he serious?
Probably not.
Should I call him?
No, don't call JD, dude. Don't. He won't even answer you. I
He won't.
guarantee.
There's no way.
JD does not have your number saved. There's no way.
You asshole.
But
JD,
anyway,
what'd you say? I didn't hear what you said. JD, what?
I said he does. There's no way he even has your number saved.
Oh no, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't even have your number saved. I have you in there as Guy. Like that's yeah.
So it's safe.
It's safe.
So
like
safe.
barely.
You nailed that joke, Brian. You really nailed that one.
I'm trying to read JD's text. Anyway, let's go to Sam's baseball pick. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Because he hates
This
baseball.
is with almost no background, and
there's no way this misses.
And I did a stint of about a month betting on baseball last year that was good for a while and then horrible for a while. But my one strategy has always been bet underdogs at the money line and at their -1.5 line. The idea being baseball is a clusterfuck of a sport, and any day you can get one team showing up and playing really well, even though it doesn't look like they're going to. Red Sox plus 122 on the money line, plus 220 -1.5. They're at home, and Kluber is due to positively regress in some amount. He's been so fucking terrible to start the year that I just can't see him. I mean, he's 0-3 with a 6-point-something ERA. I can't see that sticking for too long. He's too good of a pitcher. So I think you can get them at home against the Twins, plus on the money line and -1.5. I think there's some value there. That said, again, first baseball bet all year. Please, please do not trust me too much.
I don't hate that, even though I do hate the Red Sox. I am with you that Kluber, he's so hit or miss that at some point he's got to have a good game in there somewhere, and it hasn't really happened yet. I do have a play on this game, but go ahead, you first, Brian.
I was gonna say this is wild. If you're watching this show, all three of you, we have the guy.
People here tonight. Come on.
We have the Boston guy coming in saying like, "Hey, just saying the Red Sox."
Fan? Yeah, I grew up outside of Boston.
Yeah, he's a huge guy. He's a huge Red Sox fan. He's like, FYI, I just out of nowhere looked at all the games. I went with the Boston Red Sox at plus money. So we had the Boston guy coming in here trying to give a baseball pick.
Look, you're the one. You're the one who's ruining my great pick with your perceived bias, which may or may not be true. But either way, I think it has value. So you know what, Brian? You can.
Can we take a step back? Can you tell a chat you were kidding about the Gobert threes and JD thing?
I took it on Bet365. I actually took Gobert first three. First made field goal, Gobert 3. If it hits, 5 to win $8.2 million.
Don't bet on Gobert threes.
I can't even find him to hit a 3 on FanDuel.
Troll. That was.
I will say this: if you're watching this again, JD himself has a higher chance of hitting a 3-point in this game than Rudy Gobert, who's actually going to be on the court.
And you could probably find a line on does JD actually exist or is he an AI? You know,
JD exists.
could be an
I
AI.
actually, I've been watching him at his house for a while now. He's
move
actually
on.
putting
We're all
into
getting
a
fired.
restraining order.
I can't get fired. I'm good.
I do like that play. Back to your play. Your Kluber's been pretty bad. Well, I guess not terrible. He's given up, only 2 runs and then 1 before that. But he has given up at least a home run and every outing back to September of last year. So, but yeah, I mean, I do like that strategy, that theory of anything can happen in baseball, especially and with 160 games. The Red Sox are going to win some of them. They're going to win some that Kluber pitches, and they're going to win some where it's probably a negative matchup for him, pitching wise. Kind of on that note, though, I again hate the Red Sox. Yankees fan. I love Rafi Devers to go yard tonight. I just do. He's been hitting the piss out of the ball. I would have his numbers, exit velocity up in front of me if I was prepared for the show. But it's crazy. He is averaging 90 miles an hour exit velocity against right-handed pitching this year in 37 at bats, which is crazy. That's crazy. It's going to come down. It's one of those numbers that's just really inflated right now at the beginning of the season, but it hasn't come down yet. He does have 4 home runs against right-handed pitching as well. Joe Ryan is really good. He's really solid. He's given up a home run in his last 3 outings. You look up and down that lineup, especially without Duvall, and Devers is who jumps out at you that he's going to be that guy tonight. So I like Devers to hit a home run. I took him at plus 370 on DraftKings. I don't know what the line is right now, but you can download the Biggest Sports app. Use code GoldBoys. Use code FaceOff40, and find the best lines so easily. I didn't stutter. Let's go.
That was better. That was better.
Fucking nailed it.
I don't know what's better, the pick, because I actually do like Devers, or the fact that we were kind of made aware right now that NJC, I think Toby was in here, JD's watching, and you keep saying how unprepared you are at all things, and then you have this idea that you're going to be invincible.
Well, NJC said that I'm definitely not getting fired, maybe. So I think we're good.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was told before I was fired. So anyway, I do like Devers though. Devers is a guy that, I mean, for as good as he is as a power guy, he doesn't strike out often. He likes to make contact, and I do think he's always a nice play if you're getting like 300 or better. So maybe I'll just parlay that with the Red Sox money line and become rich. So I think that's a good look.
Jerry says Gio Urshela revenge dinger. Well, actually, he said Gio Urshela revenge SI space G, and then he said dinger star. I had a stroke typing that, so that's not good because he actually is pretty sick right now. But yeah, that's not a bad look. Gio's he's shown some pop this year. I know he had a grand slam like a week or so ago.
Do we really know that Jerry's sick? Like,
no,
he's the kind of guy that would do this for sympathy. So he's in the chat.
Yeah,
so like, I kind of feel like Jerry.
Me and Jerry are gonna hang out soon. I just found out that me and Jerry actually are in the same area quite often. So, my girlfriend lives in like the same area as Jerry. So we're gonna find out a way to hang out in some form. Maybe we'll go do some.
He lives in New York, right?
He works in New York. No one that works in New York lives in New York. That's how it works.
I'll be in New York in August. Maybe we, just all get together.
God, that sounds terrible.
Joseph also saying you like Joe Ryan ladder against the Red Sox.
I do. We talked about earlier.
I don't hate
the only thing I worry about is I talked to Nick Larson earlier on our spaces. That's what it is. The thing with Joe Ryan is he actually opened at like 4.5. I think at like minus 125. And we all talk about line movement, books, being smart, all this other stuff. So like I have trouble sometimes taking like a juice 5.5 line when it opened at 4.5, just because it's moved so far off that line. But I do like Joe Ryan tonight. I just hate trying to like take a line that you missed out on a little bit.
Under 6, December last year.
Yeah, no, Joe Ryan. Well, you can't use
Red Sox
that
haven't
stat.
been.
I mean, that you're using the off season. Like that's
Yeah.
wow. He's gone this many months
don't strike out much though, honestly, against righties.
Till the Sox put 12 on him in the first inning, and then
the only problem with the Red Sox is that like if you saw the lineup today, it kind of makes you throw up a little bit. Like it's one of those days though where if you're ever gonna ladder K's, I think it's Wednesday, because Wednesday is usually like the day it's usually the day game slates where it's the last day of a series. So it's usually like the get out days where people play in the mornings or the afternoons and leave. So a lot of times you see these lineups and it's like, oh god, it looks like a T-ball roster. So I do think that if you're ever gonna ladder it, it's like the end of the series sometimes in these like midweek slates.
Are the Sox going away for their next series?
Um,
Feels important here.
I mean, well, I would assume so just because their lineup was terrible when I saw it. I mean,
They
I'll check,
they play the
but
Twins at home tomorrow.
okay. So
But-
their lineup's just that bad then. Their lineup's just that bad
Well,
then.
the
because
roster's
when I
not
saw-
that good, to be honest. I mean, just
Yeah, it
being,
is fair.
being fair. The roster's not that good this year, objectively. Yeah, I still don't hate it. Still don't hate it. Okay. Any other? You got anything else on this game, or what do we want to go to next on the MLB slate since we're already here?
They're really honestly, I'm a little upset. I didn't take in the show with Nick earlier. I talked about Noah Syndergaard's under. Didn't play it. He didn't get any strikeouts. It was kind of annoying. At this point, the games that are left, the only thing we looked at was Mackenzie Gore's strikeouts. But they opened up at 6.5. So that's one of those things where you wanted a good line. The books are too smart for it. I don't really think there's much value in that, and you can't trust Jose Barrios on the road. Didn't really like a lot of that game. If anything, maybe the over for the Astros in the first 5 because Jose Barrios outside of Toronto is kind of a train wreck most of the time. But I kind of didn't really like a lot of the later games.
Yeah. I do have a couple more. Real quick, Sam. You don't have any other baseball plays, right? Just the one.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do have a couple of. It's a good Tim asking about Johnny Brito.
me and Nick
so
talked about him too.
I'm going to that
3.5.
game next. What is it?
Yeah, 3.5. It's really juiced for his strikeout
Yeah.
line.
So I don't know. Just to respond real quick to the Brito question. Last time, this is his fourth start. His first 2 were like insanely good. And then he pitched I think last Sunday or something, and just had no fastball command. Could not locate anything. His off speed still looked okay, but he could not throw a strike with his fastball, and they just kind of teed off on the off speed stuff. And it was bad. It was a really bad. I think he got like 1 or 2 outs. But stuff's really good. You know, I trust Matt Blake. I think he's gonna give us a performance tonight. I don't know how much I would love 3.5 with a bunch of juice. That's something you could take. I would almost just rather play like a 5 or a 6 plus for a small for less than a unit. And
Well,
see what happens.
me and Nick talked about it too, where you could get -110 if you wanted to do like a weird version of a PPD, where you could do 4+ strikeouts and the Yankees +3.5 if you think they keep it close. Because a guy like Brito too is if he's gonna go off the rails, he's not getting the strikeouts and they're gonna lose by more than 3. Like it's almost like correlated where even if you lose, it's most likely you're not gonna you're either gonna hit both those legs or neither of them.
Yeah.
Which people don't like to think about that, but sometimes that's a win if you have a correlated look, even if you lose. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine if you took over 3.5 and you paid 1.6
Yeah.
units for it to win a unit. You almost win inherently by saving the juice if you get a correlated look sometimes. So
Yeah, that's not bad. I'm also on Anthony. I by the way, I've turned into I only bet home runs right now on baseball. It's the only thing I can actually get right. I'm gonna make money doing so. I also like Anthony Rizzo to hit a home run. Every time, you know, I think like every other time he comes to the plate, he's hitting a ball 100 miles an hour off the bat. He's got a short porch. He's got a righty, kid on the mound who's he gave up. Griffin Canning gave up 5 hits in his first outing. But also gave up 5 hits at 95 plus exit velocity. Gave up 2 runs. So he didn't give up a home run, but I think that means he's due to give up at least 1 home run to the Yankees, especially with that short porch. So I was all over Rizzo at +425 on DraftKings. Found that line on Pickett Sports, code GoldBoys. I also don't hate if you want to sprinkle a little bit on Franchi Cordero, because every time he's in the lineup, it seems like he's hitting one out, especially. Also, you give him the short porch as a lefty. He's +650 on DraftKings. Found that with. But I think that's all I have actually for this. 3 or 4 games after 7 o'clock MLB wise.
yeah, there's not many. Like I said, this is a marathon day where it's a lot of the day games, and the night games can be hit or miss. I mean, you can tell they always are slacking later in the games. They put the teams out there like they're Red Sox, and that's end of list there. But yeah, there's not much value I really liked in the later games. I do like. I actually, all hate aside, I do like the look for the Red Sox because I do think you can find value in underdogs, despite underdogs doing really what's the word, shit to start the year. They actually happened. So you talk about the regression, like the positive regression for them. Favorites have started off so hot. Almost a lot of it's due to the Rays being so good and the A's being so bad and the Nationals being so bad. But the cover rate for underdogs has been awful to start the year. So you gotta think that eventually gonna start shifting to the mean a little bit.
Yeah, you got to figure the Phillies. The Phillies are finally gonna maybe win a couple games, right?
Hey, the Phillies won today. That's all that matters.
Did they? Oh, that's so good.
I will say
they were
upset.
terrible for how many months at the start of the season last year too, and then they came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and
I will
thought they were gonna
say
win the whole damn
I
thing,
love
so.
if you're any Philly fans out there. I love our manager Philly Rob. I'm a little disappointed he played Bryson Stott in the second game of the doubleheader, and he didn't continue his historic hit streak. And I'm a little upset only because that was like the only thing the city of Philadelphia had because like the team's ass. I would have sat him, for the second game, keep that hit streak alive. Was a little upset there. That's all I have to say about the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't be worried about the Phillies at all if you didn't look at that division right now. And the Mets have before yesterday had won
And
like
Scherzer
5
got
games.
tossed to that. You see that? That was
I
funny.
didn't see that, but the Mets are 7-3 in their last 10, and I think before today or yesterday had won like 5 or 6 straight, and they're still how many 3 games back on the Atlanta Braves, who have kind of quietly been just beating the hell out of everybody. And then after that, you have one of the better top 2 or 3 pitchers on a staff in Miami, who's got some bats now too. That might be the best division in baseball. Outside of maybe the AL West is a conversation. I guess AL East is a conversation, but to me right now, that NL East is going to be tough to get out of, and I don't feel like I don't feel like the Phillies can start kind of as slow as they did last year for that prolonged of a period and still get in. So they got to pick it up quick if you ask me. But I also don't know shit about anything. So.
It's a tough division. I'm also a little sad that one of the picks I gave out, the only future I had this year is that the Guardians to win the division, and they lost like 2 straight to the Tigers yesterday, and I was a little upset about that. So I only get worried about teams if I have my hard-earned money on them, and the Guardians got to pick it up. I mean, that's they got winning against the Tigers today, and they celebrated as if they. Yeah, the Guardians should be good. But yeah, that's all I had today. It was really just the Drew Holiday look at the PRA. I kind of had my baseball picks early. I didn't really love much because I stay mostly the strikeout props, which has been up and down the start of the year, but it's not been too terrible. But there's not really much I liked in these last 4 games, and the only advice I can give is if you don't like a bet, you don't have to take it.
The only other thing I'm looking at, I'm gonna use Pickett in line here. George Springer, like, I don't know what this man. Hello,
and now we have
Sam's
a
cat. Let's show just went up. I don't know what George Springer did to the baseball gods, but like the absolute piss missiles that he's been hitting the last 2 games and literally has nothing to show for it is insane. I went through the numbers last night. Jerry posted a clip where he said you're on Springer, so I'm gonna take a Vladdy, and I guarantee you I will win. Vladdy, of course, goes yard. George Springer, he has to hit a ball out very, very soon. He has to. Like, he just has to.
This sounds like the manifesto of a guy that's about to go homeless, betting him every single day. And
this sounds like
I haven't bet him yet. Listen, I haven't
desperation.
bet him yet for that exact reason. But
the pain in your voice, you can feel.
I've only bet him actually. Last night was the first time I bet on him. I actually hate that guy too. But yeah, he's probably. I'm probably not going to bet him, which almost definitely means he's going to hit a home run tonight. If anybody wants to, go ahead and fade.
Probably will take that out of spite.
Yeah. Sam, you got any soccer plays that you really like for it's like what 2 a.m. in Europe or something, but for tomorrow maybe or something?
I got tomorrow. I think it's a pretty crappy slate. Thursdays are generally the worst soccer day, but
Sure.
The Turkish Super League is still making up games from their whole fiasco with that
That's
earthquake.
in Turkey?
In Turkey, yeah. Turkish Super League. Trabzonspor versus Sivasspor. Both teams to score minus
Dude, are
130.
these Pokemon?
Fantastic value, minus 130. I'm 4-0 my last 4 bets in soccer, so I'm feeling great. Turkey's been good to me. Trabzonspor, Sivasspor, both teams to score.
You're going to have to tweet that out or some shit. I don't even know what you just said.
I swear that's a Pokemon from the old Leaf Green game. That's gotta be.
I swear to God, they're real. I can spell teams' names without looking from like Denmark and Turkey without even like checking anymore, and it's a bit concerning. My world knowledge is completely based off of mid-tier European soccer.
I love that for you.
It keeps me worldly. I know way more cities in like Latvia than I ever would have if I didn't become a gambler. So
That's Christos Porzingis right there, Lativa.
Latvia.
Have you ever seen the Tingus Pingus video? It's my favorite video of all time. Look it up.
Okay.
There's a video of Christos Porzingis getting drafted, and this guy from, you could just tell he's from the heat of like New York, where he's like, who the fuck is this guy? You gotta look it up. If you haven't seen it, you've been under a rock. It's my favorite.
My favorite video is a spider burying itself in sand. So I'll send you that one.
That's a really weird choice.
It's great. It's a great video.
I think we covered a lot today. We got Oh, someone says, can't believe the books are cowardly enough to not give Ingles a 3-point line.
Never have.
They never do. But I think we covered a lot today. We got baseball, basketball,
I do want to say,
soccer.
Boom Goes the Dynamite. I don't know how you guys don't use that more. It's upsetting that you don't use that for Boom Fantasy. Please start plugging that as their tagline. Thank you.
So the only thing is we can't invent taglines. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm just saying.
It's not copyrighted. That video.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
We should probably get out of here before we get in legal trouble. I almost already there today. So,
Shit.
any final thoughts here?
No, I think the only final thought is that it was great to have Sam on here.
It was.
We did get more into evergreen content and more gambling content than we did about actual picks, which is not a bad thing. But I think it was a good show, and I think we covered a lot, despite being like 40 minutes late, thanks to our producer.
We're like 13, 14 minutes late, first of all. Second of all, I agree with you. I think this was a great show. Thank you again, Sam, for jumping on last minute here. I feel like this was definitely an entertaining content, even though we had a total of, I think, literally like 6 or 7 games between both leagues tonight. So I appreciate it. Follow Sam on Twitter. Listen to his podcast on Spotify. Anything else you want to plug while you're here?
No, I'm kind of all over the place. It was fun to be here. Glad to give you a step up from Jerry. And Brian agreed with me multiple times today, which honestly was
scary.
Multiple times more than I expected. So as far as the show goes, fantastic for me. I had a great time.
Awesome. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. We are back 1 o'clock tomorrow for propping up NHL show. Switching days.
I get tomorrow off.
You are off
That's right.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
and then I think we'll be back Friday at 1 or something. So just keep an eye out. Thursday and Friday, it kind of gets a little weird sometimes, but we'll be back. Follow us all on Twitter. Download Picket Sports. Download Boom Goes to Dynamite. Not gonna work for me.
This is why you can't do it.
Boom Fantasy.
No, it
Use
didn't work.
code GoldBoys.
Eli has half a brain. It's a problem.
We're out of here.
All right.